Be me. 26. Junior corporate lawyer at a glass box in the sky. Associate in M&A, which just means professional PDF victim. Also be loud male feminist on social media. Tweet things like support women in leadership or get out of the way. Retweet girl boss quotes over latte pics. Call myself an ally. Never actually talk to the women who run things. Company, Sterling Vance Group. Publicly, it's Mark Sterling's company now. Privately, everyone worships him like he invented capitalism. Rumor mill says the original founder died. His widow retired to some mansion with roses. We call her the ghost. Evelyn Vance. We make jokes. She's probably on a beach somewhere with our pensions. Wish I could marry rich like that, Lamau. Never think about what it costs to build an empire and bury a husband. I sit in meetings next to other baby associates, trying to look smart. Partner says Mark is the future. I nod. Ignore the quiet line in the annual report that says, majority shareholder E. Vance Holdings. One stormy night, I stay late to impress people who don't know my name. Office mostly empty. Windows rattling. Sky purple-black, rain smearing the city lights. I'm drafting clauses I barely understand. Landline rings in the legal war room. Actual landline. Nobody uses that unless it's old school important. James, our grizzled chief legal counsel, picks it up. He's in his 60s, suspenders, coffee breath. Eyes like he's seen 40 years of bullshit and one decent lunch. Vance legal, he says. Silence. Then his posture changes. Straightens like someone pulled a string up his spine. Evelyn? He says. The name hangs in the air. I look up. He turns away, voice suddenly. Careful. I catch fragments. Storm. Threw her out. He hit her. Of course, I'll handle it. He hangs up. Doesn't move for a second. Then, emergency board meeting. He mutters. 8 a.m. sharp. He sees me watching. You, he says, finish that draft, then go home. Be here before 7 tomorrow. Is this about Mark? I ask, trying not to sound too eager. He gives me a look I can't read. It's about the throne, he says, and who actually built it. I don't sleep that night. Next morning, sky scrubbed clean. City acting like nothing happened. Top floor, boardroom. Oval table big enough to land a small plane. 12 directors, silent. Coffee untouched. At the far end, in the chairwoman's seat, sits a woman I've never seen in person. Small. Silver hair in a twist. Simple black dress, gray cardigan. No flashy jewelry, just a thin gold band. And a watch older than I am. Eyes that could cut glass. Evelyn Vance. The ghost. She looks ordinary. Like someone's grandma. Except my stomach drops in a way that feels a lot like recognizing your actual boss for the first time. Mark strides in late like this is his coronation. Designer suit, white teeth, smug. All right, he says. What's so urgent we had to drag everyone in? He sees her. Stops. What is she doing here? He snaps. This is a closed board meeting. Nobody answers. He laughs too loud. Mommy-in-law crashing the big boy table, huh? James, this is ridiculous. Get her out of my seat. James doesn't move. Sit down, Mark, he says. Mark scoffs, ignoring him. He points at Evelyn. You need to leave, he says. This is my company now. You cashed out years ago. Go back to your garden or whatever. Evelyn takes off her glasses, folds them carefully. When she speaks, her voice is soft. Mark, she says, sit. Something in her tone makes even my spine obey. He doesn't sit. But his swagger falters. Let's clarify a few things, she continues. Since you seem confused about reality. For the next 10 minutes, I watch a narrative dismantle itself. Evelyn explains without raising her voice. She and her late husband founded Sterling Vance in their garage in 1980. She owns 61% of the voting shares. She stepped back for health and family reasons, but never relinquished control. She personally allowed Mark's promotion because she believed he treated her daughter well. Her jaw tightens on that last part. Then she looks him dead in the eye and says very calmly, You hit my child. Everything in the room changes temperature. She lays out the facts one by one. Last night, the storm. The bruise on her daughter's face. The words, too plain. Not CEO material. Bad for your image. Thrown out into the rain, barefoot, my throat goes dry. I didn't know any of this. I thought Sarah, the CEO's wife, was just shy. Invisible. Optional. Evelyn doesn't cry. She doesn't yell. She just says, "You are terminated for cause." James slides a folder across the table. I see the clauses we drafted in theoretical scenarios. Misconduct, reputational harm, domestic violence. It all clicks. This isn't a hypothetical anymore. This is a guillotine. Security comes. Police wait outside. Mark's face goes through all 5 stages of grief in 30 seconds. He pleads. He blames stress. He tries to play the victim. Evelyn doesn't flinch. "You confuse power with immunity," she says. "That confusion ends today." They take him away. The room is silent. Evelyn thanks the board for their time. Delegates interim duties to James. Then she leaves. No victory lap. No mic drop. Just a woman going home to make soup for her bruised daughter. Be me. Allie watched an abused woman defend herself with the only weapon she had, absolute power. Realize I never once thought about her as a person before today. That should have been my first wake-up call. It wasn't. I just thought, holy shit, she's terrifying. I want to work for her. Within a week, I do. James pulls me aside. Evelyn needs a dedicated counsel, he says. She asked for someone young, sharp, and not yet corrupt enough to leak to the press. Me? I squeak. He smirks. You stay late, you read, you shut up. She likes that. You start Monday. I tell my friends. Dude, you're gonna be like the right hand of a billionaire widow. Sugar mommy pipeline unlocked. We laugh. We drink. We joke about cougars and power. Nobody says, she's a mother who just watched her daughter get beaten by a man she promoted. Maybe check if she's okay. Monday, I drive out to her estate. Old Victorian outside the city. Roses, ivy, gravel driveway. Big, but not vulgar. Inside, it smells like lemon oil and chicken stock. We work at a long wooden table instead of a conference room. She makes her own tea. She doesn't let anyone refill her cup. I like to stand up sometimes, she says. Reminds my body I'm alive. We start going through everything Mark touched. Contracts, donations, side deals, board politics. I watch her work. She has the patience of someone who outlived her competitors. She reads like other people breathe. In between paragraphs, she checks her phone. Always on silent. Screen lighting up with Sarah every few hours. Go, I say once. You can answer. She's sleeping, Evelyn says. I just like to see her name. She smiles, small and private. I file that away. Then I forget it. Weeks blur. My life turns into 3 locations. Office, Evelyn's house, my apartment, which is now primarily a shower and laundry depot. Friends say I'm married to my job now. We laugh. They ask if Evelyn is as scary as the headlines. I say she's a shark in pearls. She probably eats weak executives for breakfast. I do not say she makes extra soup and always ladles some into a container with my name on it. She texts me when the weather's bad. Drive safe, roads are slick. Because that doesn't fit the myth. I tell myself I'm different from guys like Mark. I support women in power. I do the work. I quote her in presentations, but I still treat her like a symbol. The chairwoman. Madam Vance. Legend. Not Evelyn. Not a person with knees that ache when she stands too long. I notice small things and dismiss them as quirks. She rubs her chest sometimes, like there's a weight there. Takes more breaks to sit by the window. Forgets her glasses on the table. Squints at the screen. Drinks more herbal tea, less coffee. Age, I think. She's tough. She's built of granite and shareholder equity. She'll be fine. One night, we're at her place late. Storm again. Of course. Documents everywhere. Laptop screens reflecting in the dark windows. We're working on selling one of the subsidiaries Mark messed up. I'm halfway through a sentence when I realize she hasn't responded. I look up. She's staring at a photo on the wall. Younger Evelyn, her husband. Little Sarah on a man's shoulders, squealing mid-laugh. You okay? I ask. It's the first time I've asked that, I realize, and it's mostly because the silence feels weird. She doesn't answer right away. Then she says very quietly, I built this for them, you know. Not for Forbes lists, not for this circus. I don't know what to say. Default lawyer mode. Well, you protected Sarah, I offer. You corrected the mistake. That's what matters. She gives a half smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Is that how you see it? She asks. A mistake I corrected? Yes, I say, confident. He hit her, you fired him. Crisis managed. Her fingers tighten around her mug. Crisis managed, she repeats, like she's testing the words. She looks so small suddenly, not the chairwoman, just a woman in a cardigan in a too-big house. I chose him, she whispers. I liked him. I thought he made her laugh. I signed the paper that put that man in that office. I put a crown on his head and then acted surprised when it crushed her. She laughs, but it's sharp. That's not a PR crisis, Daniel. That's stewardship failure. I feel my face heat up. I didn't mean... I know what you meant, she says. It's what they all mean. Strong woman handles it. Crisis averted. Back to normal. She looks at me then, and I feel pinned. Do you think I'm strong? She asks. Of course, I say instantly. You're the strongest person I've ever met. She exhales long and slow. That's the problem, she murmurs. No one believes I can break. The room feels too small. I should say something. Are you okay? Do you want to stop? Have you eaten? Instead, I say, we should finalize these indemnities before midnight. She nods. Puts the mask back on. We work in silence. Time passes. We settle into a strange orbit. Work, tea, storms. Board meetings, more storms. Sophie comes by the house sometimes. She's healing. Slowly. When she laughs, Evelyn's shoulders drop half an inch. When she leaves, Evelyn stands at the window until her car turns out of the driveway. I notice. I say nothing, because I'm busy. Important. Valuable. I get promoted. Special counsel to the chairwoman. People congratulate me. You're basically the prince of the company now. She must really trust you. I like that. The idea of being the one she trusts. I tweet about when powerful women uplift younger men, everyone wins. Hashtag gender equality. 10 likes. I don't text her when she leaves late to ask if she got home safe. I assume she's fine. She always is. The night it breaks is quiet. No storm this time. Just tiredness. We're at her dining table again. Papers pushed aside, laptop closed. She's staring at her hands. I fidget with my pen. Daniel, she says finally. How old are you now? 26, I answer. Why? Do I look older? Because if so, this job is 26, she repeats. When I was 26, I was pregnant with Sarah, working double shifts, sleeping 3 hours a night, thought I was immortal. She smiles faintly. You still have time, she says, to change your mind about what kind of man you want to be. I laugh. I thought I was doing okay. You are, she says, but okay isn't much of a compass. She looks restless. Gets up, paces to the window. I used to think suffering gave me credibility, she says. Like if I just kept carrying everyone, that meant I deserved the seat at the table. That if I ever put something down, they'd say, see? Knew she couldn't handle it. She turns back. Her eyes are too bright. I don't know how to be weak, she admits, even when I want to be. There's a crack in her voice on that last word that I feel in my teeth. Something in me moves without permission. I stand up, cross to her. I don't think weakness is the opposite of strength, I say, surprising myself. I think pretending you don't have limits is. She laughs shaky. Wise for 26, she murmurs. Exhausted for 26, I correct. We're closer than we've ever been. I can see the faint lines at the corner of her eyes, the silver roots in her hair, the scar near her temple. I don't know who moves first. 1 second, we're just standing there. The next, her forehead is against my chest and my arms are around her, and she's shaking. Not loudly, not dramatically. Silent trembling, like someone whose body finally betrayed her and admitted how tired it is. I'm so tired, she whispers into my shirt. I'm so tired of being the one who never falls apart. I hold her. I don't say you're strong. For once in my life, I don't say anything at all. When she finally looks up, eyes wet, something shifts between us. Lightning, but quiet this time. Her hand comes up to my face, thumb brushing my jaw as if asking a question. I answer. We kiss. Soft, careful, then not careful. Somewhere in the house, an old clock ticks steadily on, indifferent. We end up in her bedroom later, fade to black. Two adults making a choice. No coercion, no drama. Just two lonely people finding a soft place for once. In the morning, I wake up to sunlight and the smell of coffee. Evelyn is at the window in a robe, phone in hand. She looks back at me. Regrets? She asks, voice neutral but eyes not. Yes, I say. Her face falls. I sit up. I regret not asking if you were okay sooner, I say. Not seeing you as a person sooner, not bringing better coffee. She stares at me for a second. Then she laughs, really laughs. Head back, shoulder shaking. Idiot, she says fondly. We start something after that. We don't name it. We don't announce it. We just keep showing up. Work, dinner, shared toothbrush drawer eventually. I move some clothes into her place, for convenience. She doesn't complain. Sometimes when she thinks I'm asleep, she traces circles on my back and murmurs to herself. Too old, she says once, so softly I almost miss it. Too much. I want to say you're just enough, but I don't. Because it sounds cheesy. Because my throat closes. Because I'm a coward. 2 months later, she's late. I don't notice at first. I notice the nausea. Meetings cut short because I need air. Coffee untouched. Spending more time in the downstairs bathroom. I worry about stress, heart issues, something serious. I suggest a doctor. She waves me off. Probably a bug. Then one morning, she calls my name from the bathroom. Her voice is wrong. I walk in, heart drumming. She's sitting on the closed toilet lid, robe wrapped tight, a small white stick in her hand. 2 pink lines. My brain goes white noise. Oh, I say, genius. She doesn't look at me. I'm 40, she says quietly. Well, 41 in 3 months. This is... She laughs, but it's hollow. Statistically unwise, she finishes. Emotions barrel through me. A stampede. Fear, career calculations, scandal headlines, board politics, sheer raw awe. And under all of it, a tiny, stupid flame of joy I'm too scared to touch. She misreads my silence. Don't worry, she says quickly. We don't have to... I mean, at my age, it's high risk. We can... She trails off, eyes on the floor. The idea of not having this baby hits me like a punch, but another part of my brain screams about optics. Chairwoman pregnant by younger counsel. Nepotism baby. Age gap scandal. I make the worst choice I could make in that moment. I hedge. We need to think it through, I say. The board, the market, Sophie, the press. Something in her face shudders. Of course, she says. Her voice goes flat, chairwoman mode snapping back in like muscle memory. We should be rational, she adds. As always. I reach for her. Evelyn, I have a call in 10 minutes, she says. We'll talk later. We don't, really. The next few weeks are a blur of small betrayals. Not shouting, not cruelty, just absence. I bury myself in work. Tell myself I'm protecting her by keeping things professional. Tell myself we'll have a deep talk soon. Tell myself I'm giving her space. She goes to the doctor alone. I learned the phrase advanced maternal age from a folder I wasn't meant to see on the kitchen counter. She throws up quietly in her bathroom and comes out, lipstick perfect, to get on a conference call. At night, she falls asleep faster, hand on her belly, phone still in her other hand. I lie next to her and scroll, thumb hovering over tweets about supporting mothers in leadership that I don't post. I think I'm stressed too. I don't ask if she's scared. I don't ask if she wants this. I don't say that I want this. I think about my career more than the tiny heartbeat inside her. I do exactly what I swore I didn't do. I turn her into a symbol again. Strong, unshakable. Resource. Not someone carrying both a company and a new life on a tired spine. Board finds out, of course. Secrets don't last long on the top floor. Whispers at first? Did you hear? At her age? With who? One director, Harrington, corners me after a meeting. Congratulations, he says, voice oily. That is, if it's yours. My jaw clenches. He chuckles. You must feel very special, he says, skipping a few rungs like that. Later, in a board meeting, he brings it up. As fiduciaries, he says, we must consider whether the chairwoman's condition affects her capacity to lead objectively. The room hums. He doesn't say my name. He doesn't have to. Everyone knows who sits in her guest chair now. Everyone sees who pours her tea. I wait for my moment. Wait to speak up. James glances at me, the tiniest tilt of his head. Say something, his eyes say. Defend her. I freeze. If I speak, I confirm everything they're implying. If I don't, I betray the person carrying my child. I stay silent. James steps in. Her capacity is unimpaired, he says tightly. Her track record speaks for itself. Evelyn watches the exchange without expression. Me most of all. After the meeting, she walks past me in the hallway. Doesn't touch my arm, doesn't pause, just says, drive safe. Roads are slick, and disappears into her office. That night, I sleep in my apartment because of an early office call. She doesn't argue. I tell myself it's temporary. One night turns into 3. On the 4th day, James calls. Evelyn collapsed, he says. Get to St. Mary S. now. The world narrows to a tunnel, hospital, bleach, cold, the hum of machines. I find her in a bed, pale against white sheets. She's hooked to monitors, IV dripping. Her hand rests over her belly, almost protectively, even unconscious. Doctor says words. Dehydration. Stress. Overexertion. High risk. Needs rest. I hear almost lost the baby loudest. Sophie is there, eyes red, jaw clenched. What happened? I ask her, voice raw. She looks at me like she's deciding whether I deserve the answer. Mom's been doing 3 people's jobs, she says. CEO, chairwoman, crisis manager, and worrying about what you think on top of it. The words land like slaps. She didn't even tell me right away, Sophie continues, about you. About the baby. You know why? I shake my head. Because she was afraid, Sophie says. Afraid you'd decide she was too much trouble. Afraid you'd realize loving a tired, pregnant 40-year-old isn't as shiny as dating your peers. I want to argue. Say she's wrong. But my throat closes around the protests, because there's a journal on the bedside table. Small, leather, worn. Sophie pushes it toward me. She's been writing everything down, she says. The therapist told her to. She thought it was stupid. Did it anyway. She leaves me there. I open it. Read. Woke up nauseous again. Didn't tell Daniel. He has that worried line on his forehead. Don't want to add to it. Bored murmurs. Felt like being pregnant was a crime. Remembered being called emotional at 30 for crying once after a 12-hour shift. Funny. Daniel hesitated when he saw the test. Don't blame him. I hesitated too. Old bones, old heart, new baby. Who do I think I am asking for more? I want this child. I am terrified. I don't know how to be vulnerable without feeling like I'll be punished. Tried to ask him if he was happy. He changed the subject to indemnities. Old habits die hard. I'm so tired of being a symbol. I want to be a person, a woman, a mother again, a partner, not a narrative. I stop halfway through a sentence because my eyes blur. She wrote about me, about us, about her fear of being too old, too demanding, too late, about loving me. The word is there, small on the page, like she was afraid the ink would reject it. I never once asked if she was okay. Not really. I asked about quarterly risk, reputational damage, legal exposure. Never asked about her heart. Never asked about the baby as a person, not a PR issue. I sit there for a long time listening to the monitor beep. Every beep saying, she's still here. You still have time. For now. A nurse comes in, adjusts fluids. Strong woman, she says approvingly. She'll be up and running in no time. The words make me nauseous. Strong, strong. Strong. It's a compliment that sounds like a sentence. I look at Evelyn's face. She looks Small. For the first time, I see not the chairwoman, but someone's daughter, someone's mom. My something. I take her hand, careful of the IV. I'm sorry, I say, even though she can't hear me, for being late, for being strong when you needed soft. She wakes up hours later, finds me there, head on the edge of the bed, fingers still wrapped around hers. Hey, she croaks. I sit up, wipe my eyes, fail. You're crying, she says, surprised. Yeah, I say, I'm late to a lot of things. She looks at me for a long moment. Baby's okay, she says, hand drifting to her belly. For now. I read your journal, I confess. Her brows shoot up. Rude, she says. Accurate, I agree. I'm sorry, I won't quote it in a brief. She huffs a laugh that turns into a cough. I get her water. When she's settled, I sit back down. I've been a coward, I say. I let fear of what people would think matter more than what you need, than what we need. She doesn't let me off the hook. How so? She asks. I didn't defend you in that board meeting, I admit. I didn't show up to your appointments. I treated this like a branding problem. Not a baby, not our baby. Her eyes widen slightly at the word. Our, she echoes. If you'll still have me, I add quickly, if you still want me in this. She studies me like a contract. Why the sudden epiphany? She asks. You didn't seem this decisive over the test. Because I realized something, I say. I've spent years yelling online about supporting women, amplifying their voices, all that. And when it came down to the only woman whose voice actually needed me, I went silent. I swallow. You don't need an ally, I say. You need a partner, in the ugliest, messiest, least tweetable ways. She watches me.
And you're ready for that? She asks. For being secondary sometimes? For being seen as the boy toy, the climb, the scandal? Yeah, I say, because the alternative is being the guy who let you carry this alone until you broke. I've seen enough of those men in your files. I don't want my name in that drawer. Her eyes shine again. You'll have to give things up, she warns. Promotions, certain rooms, the illusion of neutrality. I'll start by giving something up now, I say. I stand. I'm resigning as your counsel, I say. I'll move under James, formally. We'll document everything, show the board you're not protecting me, and I'm not shielding you. If they push, I'll leave the company. I'll do freelance contracts out of your kitchen while I make you soup. Terrible soup, but I'll improve. She laughs, a real one this time. You'd leave? She asks, after working this hard to get here. If staying means watching you die by degrees in the name of image, I say. Yeah, I'll leave.
Silence. Then she squeezes my hand. You're an idiot, she whispers. Accurate, I say. I love you. She adds so quietly I almost don't hear it. Everything in me goes very still. I love you too, I say. Not the chairwoman, not the founder, not the symbol, just Evelyn. The woman who makes too much soup and not enough time for herself. She closes her eyes like the relief hurts. Okay, she says. Then we do this. Together. No more martyrdom. No more strong. Deal, I say. It's not a magic fix. We still have bills. Board meetings, gossip columns, prenatal appointments that leave us both wrung out. But things change. Small things. I start asking, how are you? And not accepting I'm fine as a legal binding statement. At board meetings, when Harrington makes a snide comment, I cut in before James can. The chairwoman's pregnancy is not a liability, I say. It's a fact. Her documented performance has improved since, actually, probably because she finally has someone forcing her to eat snacks. A few members chuckle. Harrington doesn't. He suggests we consider succession plans in case of maternal complications. Evelyn opens her mouth, but I beat her to it. Funny you only say that now, I reply. When Mark was drinking and signing deals at midnight, you called it visionary. When a pregnant woman takes doctor-mandated rest, you call it risk. Interesting, isn't it? The room shifts. Someone actually nods. After the meeting, in the elevator, Evelyn squeezes my arm. Careful, she murmurs. You'll get yourself blacklisted. I'd rather be blacklisted than watch you be bled dry, I say. She kisses me when the doors close. At home, I learn recipes. Call my mom. Ask how to make chicken soup the good way. Burn the first pot? Try again. Evelyn laughs from the kitchen island as I curse at onions. Didn't peg you for domestic, she teases. Gender roles are dead, I reply. Now sit down. You're not lifting anything heavier than a spoon. Sophie comes over more. She jokes about being the hot older sister to a baby who kicks whenever she plays music near Evelyn's belly. The house, which once felt like a museum for grief, starts to feel lived in. There are baby clothes draped over chairs. Board reports with doodles in the margins. Empty tea mugs next to ultrasound photos on the mantle. I deactivate my Twitter, not dramatically, just quietly. I realize activism that doesn't start in your own house isn't activism. It's branding. 9 months after that first storm, another one rolls in. Rain on windows, wind howling. Evelyn pacing, hand on her back, muttering about, of course the baby chooses a board meeting day. We go to the hospital, contractions, swearing, compressed fingers. Me realizing my hand is mortal. Evelyn realizing my jokes are terrible under pressure. We don't make speeches. We don't have some cinematic push through the pain for the shareholders moment. We just do it. Hours later, I hold a tiny, squirming, outraged person in my arms. They have Evelyn's nose. My ears, unfortunately. Evelyn looks wrecked and radiant. Hi, she whispers to the baby. I'm your mother. She looks at me. And this is your father, she adds. Father, not younger man, not associate, not PR risk. Father. I sit on the edge of the bed, baby against my chest, Evelyn's hand in mine, monitors beeping steadily. I think about all the storms that brought us here. I think about the first time I saw her in that boardroom, cardigan and cane and hidden knife. I think about all the times I called myself an ally while ignoring the closest woman who needed one. I kiss her knuckles. The baby yawns. Be me. 27 now. Used to think supporting women meant retweets and think pieces. Turned out it meant showing up to doctor's appointments, making soup, taking hits in meetings, saying I'm scared out loud, and not flinching when she says it back. People will talk forever. He got his boss pregnant. He climbed the ladder horizontally. Age gap. Yikes. They'll project their own stories onto ours. Some will call it wrong. Some will call it romantic. Most will scroll past. They won't see the quiet stuff. Her hand on my back when I wake up from nightmares about failing her. My hand on her belly when she worries the baby hasn't kicked in an hour. Sophie falling asleep on our couch with a baby bottle on her chest. James dropping by with lasagna for the kid, eyes suspiciously red. They won't see Evelyn sitting at the kitchen table months later, hair messy, baby monitor crackling, company reports spread out, looking at me and saying, I'm so glad I didn't have to be strong alone this time. And me, knot in my throat, answering, you never will again. Got my secret chairwoman boss pregnant. Thought I was ruining my career, ended up ruining the part of me that thought love was about winning, and built something softer in its place. If there's anything I regret now, it's simple. Not asking, are you okay? Sooner. Not realizing that strong is just another way we tell people they're not allowed to fall apart in front of us. She built the throne. Mark thought the crown made him invincible. I used to think watching from the sidelines made me blameless. Now I know better. I'm not watching anymore. I'm here. In the storm, in the kitchen, in the hospital, with soup on the stove and a baby on my shoulder, and a woman who finally gets to be tired without apologizing. It's not viral. It's not pretty all the time. But it's real, and for once in my life, that's enough.